Minnie Pearl, born Sarah Ophelia Cannon in Centerville, Tennessee, on October 25, 1912, had a life that few could have imagined from the moment she stepped on stage. From her earliest days, Sarah displayed a charm and confidence that made her stand out, even among her four older sisters who adored and pampered her. Her father, Thomas Colley, a respected sawmill owner, nicknamed her GM, short for General Manager, because she carried herself like she was in charge even as a tiny child. Life in Centerville was comfortable, with the timber business doing well and the family enjoying what felt like wealth. But when the Great Depression hit in 1929, the family's world changed. Money became scarce, and the Colleys had to tighten their lives while still nurturing Sarah's potential. They sent her to Ward Belmont, a finishing school in Nashville known for cultivating refined young women, hoping to prepare her for a future filled with elegance and opportunity. There, she studied theater, dance, and expression, and while the training seemed designed for serious stage actresses, it planted the seeds for the comic genius she would later become. Sarah wanted Broadway, real theater, and a life beyond Centerville's small streets, but societal expectations meant she had to wait her turn, learning patience, poise, and craft as she built her skills. Returning to Centerville after school, Sarah opened a small studio where she taught dance, dramatics, and piano. Though the work was steady and respected, her heart remained restless, craving a broader stage and the chance to explore her ambitions. She joined the Wayne P. Sue production company in Atlanta, touring the South during tough economic years, learning the rhythms of performance, and discovering the subtle art of reading audiences. Along the way, she took small gigs, such as Lions Club appearances, to promote the shows. Life was not easy, and by her late 20s, Sarah faced uncertainty. She was unmarried, without a clear career path, and the weight of deferred dreams hung heavily on her shoulders. Yet, in 1936, a chance encounter changed everything. Stranded in Boone, Alabama, she stayed with an older mountain woman whose stories and humor fascinated her. Sarah began repeating these stories to others, experimenting with timing, expression, and character. This exposure led her to create the persona of Cousin Minnie Pearl, a character who could survive and thrive with authenticity and humor, and who would eventually capture the hearts of America. By 1939, Minnie Pearl emerged on stage for the first time in Aiken, South Carolina. Her costume was deliberately plain, a frilly cotton dress, cotton stockings, and a straw hat adorned with flowers. A simple mistake, leaving the $1.98 price tag on the hat, became a defining element of the character. Audiences remembered it, laughed, and connected with the character instantly. That minor detail became the symbol of Minnie Pearl's relatability and charm, a visual shorthand for the poor country girl who everyone felt they knew personally. Her comic timing, understated wit, and keen observation of human behavior made her stand out, even when she faced doubt and silence, such as her initial audition at the Grand Ole Opry in 1940. The Opry initially placed her at the late-night slot, a time when few people listened, as if giving her a final test. Yet, her performance captivated listeners, resulting in more than 300 letters of praise, proving her ability to connect with audiences and creating a foundation for a long and influential career in country entertainment. Minnie Pearl's rise coincided with changes at the Grand Ole Opry, where stars like Roy Acuff were leading the show into a national spotlight. The expansion of radio networks meant her voice could reach households far beyond Tennessee, transforming her from a local performer into a national figure. She became a regular, performing consistently at the Ryman Auditorium, where packed crowds and sold-out shows became routine. While her stage persona portrayed a simple, humble woman, Minnie's real life was strikingly different. In 1947, she married Henry Cannon, a World War II fighter pilot and Vanderbilt graduate who had no connection to show business, but an extraordinary ability to support and manage her career. Henry not only loved Sarah, but built his professional life to complement hers, pioneering charter flights for country artists, including early tours with Elvis Presley, Hank Williams, and Roy Clark. By managing her bookings, contracts, and travel, He ensured her career thrived while allowing her to focus on performance. Offstage, Minnie Pearl lived in wealth and sophistication. In 1950, the couple purchased a house on Castleman Drive, and by 1969, they moved into a mansion on Cuttiswood Lane, next to the Tennessee governor's residence. While audiences saw a poor country girl with a cheap hat and a humble demeanor, Sarah Cannon hosted high society events, welcoming governors and celebrities with grace. This dual existence was a hallmark of her life. The warmth and relatability of her stage persona contrasted with the elegance and affluence of her private life. Yet, she carried both identities authentically, showing that one could entertain millions while maintaining privacy and dignity. Minnie Pearl's television career further cemented her iconic status. In 1969, she joined the cast of Howww-DEE, a variety show featuring Buck Owens, Roy Clark, and other country legends. Her presence brought warmth and stability amid on-set tensions, and her greeting became a familiar, comforting ritual for viewers nationwide. Over 22 years and 217 episodes, Minnie Pearl reached audiences far beyond live audiences or radio listeners, blending humor, charm, and country tradition in a way that few entertainers could. Even when network shifts threatened rural programming, her popularity endured, moving into syndication and gaining fans across the United States. Through decades of relentless touring, radio, and television work, Minnie Pearl accumulated wealth quietly. Despite the Grand Ole Opry paying modestly, her savvy management, strategic marriage partnership, and diverse opportunities allowed her to live in luxury and host high-profile events. She exemplified the paradox of show business. A performer could portray modesty on stage while thriving privately, and the world might never fully understand how fortune was amassed. By the time of her later years, Minnie Pearl had become one of Nashville's wealthiest figures, yet she remained beloved for her authenticity, humor, and connection to everyday people. Her story remains an inspiring testament to talent, resilience, and the art of balancing public persona with private success. Minnie Pearl passed away in 1996, leaving behind a legacy of laughter, joy, and ingenuity. Her life demonstrates how an entertainer's genius can lie not just in performance but in strategy, persistence, and clever management. Through her character, Sarah Cannon offered the world a reflection of itself, warm, simple, and delightfully human. Behind the straw hat and the $1.98 price tag was a woman of extraordinary intelligence, business acumen, and resilience, proving that success can be quietly monumental. Today, as fans celebrate her memory, it is clear that Minnie Pearl was not only a cherished entertainer but also a woman who quietly became the richest person in country music, with a story that continues to fascinate, inspire, and entertain. Minnie Pearl was born Sarah Ophelia Cannon on October 25, 1912, in Centerville, Tennessee. She was the youngest of 5 girls, and from the very beginning, she stood out. Her father nicknamed her GM, short for General Manager, because even as a toddler, she carried herself like she was in charge. Life was comfortable at first. Her father ran a successful timber business, and the family enjoyed what felt like wealth. But the Great Depression hit, and money became tight. Despite the struggles, her family sent her to Ward Belmont, a finishing school in Nashville, to prepare her for a future full of grace, poise, and ambition. At Ward Belmont, Sarah studied theater, dance, and expression, building skills she never imagined would help her become a comic legend. She dreamed of Broadway, but societal rules meant she had to wait. Back in Centerville, she opened a small studio teaching dance, piano, and dramatics, but her heart was still on the road. Eventually, she joined a touring theater company in Atlanta, performing through the South and learning the subtle art of audience connection. And in 1936, fate intervened. Stranded in Boone, Alabama, she stayed with an older mountain woman whose storytelling inspired her. That stay planted the seeds for Minnie Pearl, the character who would charm the world. By 1939, she debuted as Cousin Minnie Pearl in Aiken, South Carolina. Her costume was simple, a frilly cotton dress, stockings, and a straw hat decorated with flowers. A small mistake, Leaving the $1.98 price tag on the hat became iconic. Audiences connected instantly with the humble, relatable character. She had magic. Even her first Grand Ole Opry audition in 1940 nearly failed. Placed at a late-night slot when few listened, she performed for just 3 minutes. But she captivated everyone. Over 300 letters poured in, proving that Minnie Pearl's humor didn't mock people, it made them feel seen. That was the beginning of a legendary career. As the Opry expanded nationally, stars like Roy Acuff made the show a household name. Minnie Pearl's voice traveled far beyond Tennessee. She became a regular at the Ryman Auditorium, performing night after night for packed crowds. But on stage, she played a poor country girl. Off stage, her life was entirely different. In 1947, she married Henry Cannon, a World War II fighter pilot who also managed her career. Henry pioneered charter flights for performers, including Elvis Presley and Hank Williams, revolutionizing how country stars toured. He handled bookings, contracts, and logistics, keeping Minnie Pearl on stage while she focused on entertaining the nation. In 1950, the Cannons bought a house on Castleman Drive. By 1969, they moved into a mansion next to the Tennessee governor's residence. On stage, Minnie Pearl was poor. Off stage, she hosted governors, celebrities, and high society events. She managed both worlds without apology. That same year, she joined the first episode of Hee Haw on CBS, performing alongside Buck Owens and Roy Clark. Week after week, her greeting became a familiar ritual for viewers across America. She was the steady, comforting presence on a show filled with chaos, and she remained there for 22 years and 217 episodes, reaching millions of homes every week. Despite the modest pay from the Opry, Minnie Pearl quietly became one of Nashville's wealthiest figures. With Henry managing her career and strategic choices like television appearances, her fortune grew steadily. Yet, fans rarely knew. She demonstrated that success in show business is not just about performance. It's about planning, persistence, and smart management. On stage, she made audiences laugh and feel at home. Off stage, she lived with elegance, wealth, and dignity. She proved that you could play a humble character while quietly achieving monumental success behind the scenes. Minnie Pearl passed away in 1996, leaving a legacy of humor, charm, and intelligence. Behind her $1.98 hat was a woman who mastered both performance and business, showing the world that authenticity and success can coexist. Her story reminds us that sometimes the biggest fortunes are hidden in plain sight, and the richest people aren't always who you expect. Minnie Pearl wasn't just a beloved entertainer. She was a quietly powerful force in country music, and her story is one worth remembering. Sarah Ophelia Cannon, who would one day become the legendary Minnie Pearl, was born on October 25, 1912, in Centerville, Tennessee. Centerville was a small, quiet town where everyone knew each other, and Sarah's life began in a house that felt safe, warm, and full of love. She was the youngest of 5 sisters and quickly became the apple of her family's eye. Her father, Thomas Colley, was a respected sawmill owner who worked with timber near a place locals called Grinder Switch. He was known as a calm and dependable man, someone who provided for his family without drama, and he had a quiet pride in his children. Her mother, meanwhile, had attended finishing school, played the organ at church, and actively participated in social events in the town. Sarah's early life was comfortable, almost privileged, and her 4 older sisters adore her, dressing her up, showing her off, and laughing as she mimicked running the household. Her father noticed her natural confidence even as a toddler and gave her the nickname GM, short for General Manager, because she carried herself like she was in charge. Life for the Colley family seemed stable, and money was not a concern. They lived as one of the wealthiest families in the county, and Sarah grew up surrounded by affection, encouragement, and opportunities to explore the world around her. She sang, danced, and played, and everyone in the family believed she was destined for something special. Yet, the stability of this childhood would soon be challenged in ways the family could never have imagined. The year 1929 brought a change that no one in Centerville could escape. The Great Depression reached the Colley family, affecting their timber business and cutting deeply into the wealth and security they had long enjoyed. Construction slowed, orders vanished, and the once stable flow of money began to dry up. Despite this, Sarah's parents refused to let the economic downturn limit her future. They made sacrifices to provide her with an education that would open doors, even as their own finances tightened. She was sent to Ward Belmont in Nashville, a prestigious finishing school designed to prepare young women for refined social lives. At Ward Belmont, Sarah learned the art of poise, elegance, and expression. The training included dance, drama, and speech, focusing on how to walk into a room and command attention. Though it was intended to prepare debutantes and socially polished young women, the lessons would unexpectedly serve her later in life, as she built a stage persona that would captivate audiences across America. While the school itself struggled during the economic difficulties of the 1930s, Sarah excelled. She studied hard, refined her posture, and developed a stage presence that would one day make her a commanding figure on country stages. Even as the family's money diminished, Sarah's determination and natural talent allowed her to continue dreaming beyond the confines of her small hometown. After finishing her education at Ward Belmont, Sarah returned to Centerville, ready to make her mark. She opened a small studio where she taught dance, piano, and dramatics to local children. She did this well, earning respect from the community, but her heart longed for more. Broadway and big theater productions called to her, though societal expectations meant she had to wait until she reached an age considered appropriate for women to travel independently. Patiently, she honed her skills and gained experience wherever possible. Eventually, she joined the Wayne P. Sue production company in Atlanta, a touring group that performed plays and musicals across the South. It was far from Broadway, but it was a critical step. Through constant travel, performing at small-town theaters, community halls, and even Lions Club meetings, she learned to read audiences, manage stage energy, and connect with people. In 1936, while performing in Boone, Alabama, she found herself without a place to stay. An older mountain woman in her 70s offered